So, doing some work today on change management, we do some work with our partners, some of them, and came up with this model called, gonna call it the COVID Change Framework. Now, that's inspired by our beloved World Health Organization, who made an amazing statement today. Can you see that? So, COVID Change Framework. So World Health Organization goes and says there'll be a significant demand supply problem for vaccines in the world. Now, when you make a statement like that, I don't have to tell you as CEOs, senior leaders, entrepreneurs, what really happens to this whole chaos of looking to get hold of vaccines as countries. So I don't know whether it's ethical to make such statements, who controls this communication. But clearly, can't be mistakes, right? So I guess we need to understand whose and how do you commercialize from this. So commercialization is the C. Obviously, we're looking at change, and if you don't learn from what happened in the last 2 years, and the C, chaos, how chaos created a change that was possibly never going to happen, that resulted in global power shift, absolute economic reconfiguration. Intentional or unintentional, we got to learn how chaos could be used, or we could use chaos for change, which would have never happened otherwise. And with this, when you couple C for complexity, and when you couple confusion, it creates a lot of opportunity for the ones who know how to play the game. So that's the game I'm trying to figure out how to learn from. So obviously we bring in knowledge from Cotter, Levin, radical change, incremental change, transformational. I mean, the whole traditional tool deck is there, but you got to be real and practical and understand what's happening in a world with corruption, collusion, and that's real, and that could be part of your company. By the way, can you create a little bit of a cancer in your company so that you can open up the wound? It's like you are just injecting the virus, and that virus could spread, then expand. You never, I mean, you got to read. I mean, this sounds like a terrorist, but today, if you want to really make meaningful change and do something that's transformational, you got to learn from the lessons from the world that COVID's teaching. So, you got to understand your constituencies, your stakeholders, and in that game, if you think, oh, this is about few manufacturers, some of the equity companies, the investors, and then the suppliers, the medical value chain, hey, we have truly mistaken. There's politics, there's governments, there are deal makers. I don't have to tell you the black markets getting exposed even in Sri Lanka. This is estimated, I know you know the numbers, to be 25 billion USD in 2024. This is good money. And this is only the vaccine piece, so the peripherals of personal protection stuff, diagnosis, then wellness stuff, post COVID recovery medication. I guess these numbers could be 10x of this. So it's good business, it's a recurrent business. It looks like it's going to be there. So you got to really think through who are the stakeholders for your change in your company. And there will be cartels, there will be groups. So there will be cartels emerging across the value chain. So we understand that C. There will be collusion. Clearly looks like the media has a clear collusion with governments. Like, I don't know what China wants to say, CNN seems to be saying in the exact words, and balancing it out beautifully because it's sponsorship, it's spending. There's so much of deals happening there. There are conferences. This is no more that perfect world that we want our kids to live in. So the collusion, the corruption, so all these C's at play has to be used by us or will be used by it. So I'm trying to build a realistic framework, maybe like a 10C model, which I want to call the COVID change framework. I'm sure there are great thoughts in your mind that could contribute to this. So we become truly realistic. How do we add those good, bad, and ugly into the picture? Sometimes at the cost of one generation, a cost of a group of people. Now, this is very scary stuff to talk about. I mean, some have to die for the rest to thrive, right? And that's part of some people's equation. Look what happened in Afghanistan. I mean, some have taken it for granted that there will be collateral damage, and that's part of the business model. So how do we grasp this? How do we put this into our system of thinking rather than try to go the traditional route in a world that is the past, but be realistic to the present? So, some thoughts, getting prepared for a discussion on change, COVID change framework. I hope you will share your thoughts and we can have a good conversation. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Drive change.